So you remember, like we were on the area of circle yesterday, right? So I told you to attempt one method. At least can you tell what was the method which I told you to attempt? Can one of you tell? Remember and tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to divide the circle like very minutely and then.
Yeah, that was the previous one model. Okay,
It's
which
the
we
R by
did.
2, and then we draw a circle
Yeah,
inside.
yeah, exactly. So I told like you make a circle of radius r by 2, right? And I asked you what is the importance of it. Yesterday we discussed also. What was the importance of this? What is the importance of the circle we said yesterday? Does anyone remember? So the importance is this is exactly halfway, midway. And so if you draw such circle from here, increase the radius until the last point, if you add all those circles circumference and take an average, the center one would be the average value. Do you all agree to that? If you make such circles from here and reduce its radius, and then it comes here, if this is exactly r by 2, do you think this circle, its radius is half of the total radius, do you think the circumference of the circle will be the average of circumference of all such circles which you can draw inside? Do you agree?
No, sir.
You don't agree. Okay, why you don't agree?
Because the radius is the center circumference is the average.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. The center circumference is the average, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you see the outermost circle, the big circle, its circumference is 2 pi r. And here circumference is 0, 2 pi into 0. This is 2 pi into r by 2. So naturally, this will be the average value of the all circumferences of all circles which you can draw inside. The center one will be the average value. Is it not? It is only you are multiplying it 2 pi. Do you all agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is its circumference? Circumference of this circle with radius r by 2?
Pi r.
Pi r, because it is 2 pi into r by 2, right? 2 pi into radius is the circumference of any circle. So this is 2 pi into r by 2. 2 and 2 will cancel. You will get pi r. All of you got this? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, but now pi r is only the circumference of this circle. If you want to calculate the area of this circle, you have to multiply it with the thickness. Is it not? This circle, if you have to get the area of this portion which this circle covers, the dotted line, forget about it, it's not dotted, okay, just to know, I have mentioned it. Actually consider it as full thick line. If you want to get the area covered by this line, you have to multiply this 2 pi r with the thickness of this line, right? Do you understand that concept? It's an important concept.
Yes, sir.
See, for example, if you straighten, assume you straighten this line, what will happen? What will be its shape? It will be something like this. Oops. It will be something like, assume that is having uniform mistake, okay? It will be something like this. So this thickness is the thickness of this line. So if you break this here and straighten it, it will be, what will be its shape? It will be the shape of a rectangle actually, if you open it. And it's this width of this rectangle will be the thickness of this line. What will be the length of this rectangle?
it the circumference of the?
It is a circumference, right? Length of the rectangle is a circumference. Straightforward, right? So if I cut it open and make it open, this length will be the circumference and width will be this thickness. So area of this rectangle will be length into breadth, which is 2 pi r into its thickness. Do you all agree?
Yes, sir.
So there's a small problem there, which I will tell you upfront, because the radius of the circle
Yes, sir.
will be less inside, more outside. So it is not uniform throughout this thickness. This is r by 2 maybe at the center. Inside line radius is lesser, outside line radius is more. But average radius you can take it as r by 2. So if you assume the thickness of this circle is 1 centimeter, the area of this line is this circumference into 1. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Area of this line, area covered by this line is its circumference into thickness. Assume thickness is 1 centimeter. So it is pi r into 1 centimeter or pi r. Do you all agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if this is 1 centimeter, how many such circles are there from here to here?
Can you tell one, sir?
If this thickness is 1 centimeter, if you make circles of 1 centimeter thickness, like this, how many circles are there from here to here?
R.
R circles, right? Because this length is r centimeter. If thickness is 1 centimeter, you have r centimeters the total length, you have r circles. Are you able to visualize it? If not, you draw it in your book. See, r such circles, first circle 1 centimeter thickness, second circle also 1 centimeter thickness, third circle also 1 centimeter thickness. Like that, r such circles, when you put that, if you add the area of all those circles, that becomes the area of the full circle, right? Just consider it is like a thread with a thread you are making circle. One thread, make one circle, another thread outside it, another thread, another thread, another thread. If there is no gap between the threads, the area covered by all these threads is the total area of the circle. Just visualize it. Yeah. So now we know this area of this circle in the center, if its thickness is 1 centimeter, it is pi r into 1. Okay. Now, if from here to here r such circles are there, and the average area of one circle is pi r into 1, what is the area of this whole circle then?
Pi r square.
Pi r into r. Is it not? You have r circles. Average area of one circle is r. It is like telling, it is toffee maths. It is like telling average value of a toffee is 5 rupees. What is the value of 10 toffee? It is 10 into 5, right? Every toffee is not 5 rupee. One toffee is 6 rupee, one toffee is 4 rupee. Another toffee is 7 rupee, another toffee is 3 rupee. But average value of toffee is 5 rupee. Which means for all practical purposes, you can take the average value for calculation. So what is the value of 25 toffee? 25 into average value. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So you have to get this visualization correct, okay? This is important. So in geometry, like to get into the crux of the geometry, you have to get this visualization correct, okay? So I'm just writing that in English here. This is pure English, whatever I told before. Area of this whole circle is sum means addition, sum of circumference of r circles with thickness of 1 centimeter. That is, like, if you assume r such circles are there, the circumference with thickness 1 centimeter. So the area will be circumference into 1. So that is pi r into r or pi r square. Actually, you can get this method. That's why yesterday I asked you to try. Did you try? Did you get somewhere close to this?
No, sir.
Or did you try in the first place?
I just tried it, so I didn't get it. So
Okay. So one thing I want to tell you, we are not trying to catch some fish here. Okay. We are here to learn fishing. So what is the difference between catching one fish and learning fishing?
We'll make mistakes while learning.
Okay. What else?
Try again, try again.
Okay. So what
We
if
have spent time.
What if I give you everyone one fish today? End of the class, prize from me, one amuli, one big fish. Instead of that, I teach you fishing. I don't give you any fish, but I teach you how to do fishing. What is the difference between these two?
We could catch more fish than
Yeah.
one hour.
With the fish I give you, you may eat today, maybe tomorrow by keeping in the fridge, maybe next week. After that, that fish will be over. But if we teach you fishing, probably you may live a life, right? By catching fish. So that is the difference. So you are, but you are still in the sometimes in the mindset of getting fish. You are thinking, can I take some 2 fishes which Satish sir is giving and go home with the fish? Okay, but I'm not bothered about giving fishes. So these are not problems to tell you the answer. These are methods to teach you fishing, so that tomorrow you go to another pond or another river, you learn the technique of fishing and you can catch new fishes, right? Maybe some snakes, if possible some pythons also. Yeah. Okay, so right. So now we get into, I ask you a very simple problem. What is the volume of this cylinder?
To height into area of 2 pieces.
Height into area of?
2 pi r h. That both bases. 2 circles.
Okay, height into area
Yeah.
of
2 pi r square h.
2 pi r square x. Okay. Anyone
No,
else?
pi r square h.
Pi r square h. Okay. Anyone else has any answers?
So if we find the thickness of the circle and then we multiply it by the height.
Height. Thickness of circle. The thickness of the circle you calculate, or you calculate the area of one circle inside?
The area of one circle, sir.
Area of one circle. With what thickness?
With height.
1 centimeter.
1 centimeter, right? Height is h centimeter. That's what you should understand. See, you assume this is, you know what we call as for this any shape, you cut it in its some place and cut it. What you call this shape? Any idea? What you call normally in your books, textbooks? Do you know what is this called? Any shape you tell and make a cut, so that you can see what is the shape. You know what is it called?
No, sir.
It is called cross section. I'm sure you have heard this word called cross section.
I heard this in physics. Wires, cross section of a wire.
Yeah,
No,
that is different. Cross section is same this. Cross section means what? You any shape you take, you chop it and see what is its inside shape. That is called cross section. You understand? It's an important word. Okay. So you cut this. So what is the shape? Shape is same as the top or the base. So like what Rudhish told, you calculate the area of this circle or this shape of thickness what? Of thickness 1 centimeter. Then what is advantage? Height is 8 centimeters. So this cylinder is like something making shawarma. How many of you have eaten shawarma?
Me.
Me.
Okay. So is there anyone who doesn't know what is shawarma? Navneet, do you know what is shawarma?
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay. I'm sure all of you know, right? Yeah, okay. So it is like, you keep shawarma. Now don't tell me in shawarma there is something which falls on side, you don't see it here, which sauce we use and all those things, okay? So it is like you keep this one on top of it like that. How many such pieces will be? X such pieces will be there, right? Because this is 1 centimeter. So if you get the area of this, what is the area of this cross section?
Pi r square into
Pi r
1.
square.
Pi r square into 1, right? Pi r square into 1, which is pi r square. So you can multiply that with h such disks. So you get pi r square h. Is it not? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Message me in chat if you understood message. Yes, if you have an understood message, no. I want to start only all of you get this. This is the simplest of it. Sriyesh, Sam, Ritish, Avinash, Shivananta, Navaneet. I hope Keshav understood it. And Vinayak too. Okay. Right. So now, that is why it is pi r square h. What would be it for this? Square pillar.
Area of a
Area of
square.
square.
Area of square multiplied by the thickness and multiplied by the height.
Yeah, so area of square with what thickness we will take? We will take 1 centimeter. Why? If we get the area of that with 1 centimeter, we can multiply with its height. Because these are uniform stuffs. You understand? So we make a cross section, right? We make a cross section with say 1 centimeter thickness. So what is its area?
LB.
What is L and B here?
Length and breadth.
That I know. What is length and breadth given here? It's a square pillar.
S square.
S square, right? S is length and breadth. Na? Avinash, see the top I have given S here. This
Oh, I think it was a rectangle.
I have written the heading itself. Avinash, how many mark you normally lose every time by not seeing omission and commission is what we use the word called omission and commission. So through omission and commission, how many marks you lose normally?
I lose 70 times, sir.
Yeah.
Most of the exam I use.
Yeah, I can relate to you because I used to go and fight with my teacher every time, like 49.5. Then teacher will tell that Satish Kumar Shraddha Karo. Right?
I will Shraddha.
Yeah. So I'll get the answer when I write the final answer. 1 0 will be less, or something will be less. So I can relate to you. Okay, you give me the feeling of deja vu. You know what is the word called deja vu mean in English?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
നമ്മള് ഇത് തോന്നും എഴുതിയ പോലെ തോന്നും പക്ഷെ എഴുതിണ്ടാവില്ല.
Yeah, but deja vu means you feel like, oh, this moment somewhere before I feel familiar. That is called deja vu. Sometimes what will happen, some songs and all, when you hear what that mood in which you heard the song for the first time or many times, or the place where you heard that song, the fragrance of that place or the feeling you underwent, that will stay in your mind. After 10 years, when you hear that song again, that feeling will come back to you. So you are hearing a song. It's a sensory experience. But sometimes you will feel that fragrance. Yeah. So that is, so you will suddenly feel, oh, this moment looks very familiar. That's called deja vu. So each time when you make some mistakes, I feel deja vu. Avinash. Yeah, yeah, right. Okay, yeah. That's why I repeatedly telling you, catching on that point, don't make, because I can personally relate to it. Okay. So obviously this is S square into H. Okay. Now do this.
Sir, is it area
Of
in
chord, volume of chord. Yeah, yeah, area. Yeah, Keshav, tell, yes.
area
Hmm.
into thickness into height?
So for that, in all our previous cases, if you get the area into thickness, all other
The
area into
average.
thickness from top to bottom used to be the same, right? Whether in pillar or cylinder, is it the same case here?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Hmm.
So will the tip of the cone actually be circular or will it be triangular like that?
You
Will
tell me.
be.
You know chord, right?
Yeah, but then we learned that it's confusing because the tip of the cone, right? Is it like pointed or is it going to be circular like a disc?
You see, that does not make a huge difference at all. Anyway, this tip doesn't carry much volume, right?
Yeah.
Normally it is pointed.
Mm.
So as you said in the finding the area of circle, when it will come to center, we should take the average area. Average.
So take the average. See, that is why
So
I
half
gave you
into
that assignment. Okay, take that and find out.
pi r square h.
Half into pi r square h. Okay. So what is the value?
Half of centimeter is the average.
Okay, calculate.
And
Calculate. Take a
the
pen and paper and calculate. Avinash, take the book and paper and calculate. Even if with the method what you told, it is not half pi r square h. It is, instead of r, it is r by 2. It is r by 2 whole square.
Sir, not r. The area thickness of 1 centimeter.
1 centimeter is what?
Half average
Uh,
thickness.
Average
Half.
thickness. A half centimeter thickness.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So if we the x, let the height be x, so it will be half into pi r square.
Take book and paper, Avinash. You can do it. You can do it in mind, but for you that you have to be real expert. Okay. So don't attempt complex problems in mind.
Sir,
You
I thought
can.
of a solution.
Yes.
So,
sir, I also thought of a solution.
1 minute, Keshav. Yeah. First we'll go to Ritish and then I will come to you. Yeah, Ritish.
so in the previous diagram, we cut the circle, right? We cut it into inner parts
Yeah.
by the radius. So over here, we can calculate the cone's height, and then we can
I will
cut
give
the,
you cone's height. I will give you h and radius is r.
yeah. So h and r, and then we can find the circumference first of the circle.
Which circle? Circumference of which circle?
Of a circle.
Of a
Like,
cross section.
yeah.
You mean cross section? This is cross section. Okay.
Okay. And then this circle's thickness is 1 centimeter.
1 centimeter. Okay.
Okay. And then the number of cuts in this circle, like we can stack it up and up like that. And then we can count how many circles are there in this cone.
But the area of each circle is different. No? Yeah. This radius is increasing. No? It is not like previous cases where the area is uniform.
I didn't calculate.
Sir,
Yes.
It is the area of the circle on top. And multiplied by the average thickness, that is the one in the bottom, that is the one in the middle,
Hmm.
and that in the height.
Are you sure? Okay. Let me hear from everyone. So Avinash, what happened to whatever you said, like you take this center R by 2 as the average? Did you calculate that way?
Yes.
Yes. What you got?
Not R by 2. Like Ritish way, I got half pi r square h. In Ritish way, as I said, we should calculate the thickness of the circle as 1 centimeter. Then, since the as you told in the last, if from the center the circumference, the average, we should take the average circumference, I think. So we should calculate the value.
Yeah, you are right. See, okay, but see this, you take like in the circle's case, you assume the center point is the average, is what you're telling, right?
Yeah.
So this radius is R by 2, right? Is it
Yes.
not?
Yes.
This radius is R by 2, right? So this this circumference is what? What is this area? What is, we are not bothered about circumference here. We are bothered about the area of this disk. What is that? Pi into R by 2 whole square, right?
Yes, sir.
So it is pi r square by 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, assuming that 1 centimeter thickness is pi r square by 4 into 1 into h, you will get pi r square by 4 into h, or 1 by 4 pi r square h, right? Is it not?
Yes, sir.
What is the area? What is the volume of cone you studied?
Sir, it's the same.
No. What is the volume of cone? Just browse, just Google and see what is the volume of cone.
Pi r square h by 2.
By 2, is it the volume of cone? Pi r square h by 2 is the volume of cone. Just
By
Google.
3
By 3. So it is 1/3 of that.
pi r square h
by 3. So it is 1/3 of the volume of a cylinder, right? Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Cylinder, we just learned it is pi r square h. So in a cylinder, if you cut it into cone shape, the volume occupied by the cone is 1/3 of that, right?
Sir, but we got 1/4, right?
Why we got 1/4? Why? But we got 1/4. Why could that be 1/4? That means we got less volume. What could be the reason? This is where your kidney should work. You calculated the average area. With that method, you got less volume, means the average area which you calculated is less, right? It is actually more than this. That's what it says. Right?
Yes, sir.
Is it not? That means you considered the center point where it is R by 2. If you take the cross sections area at this point, you can consider it as average area is what you thought, but with that you get less volume, which means this average area, whatever you take at the center, is less than the actual value of average area, or in other words, average area comes above this or below this?
Above.
Above this somewhere. Why? Why it is not at center? Why average is slightly above?
Sir, because the volume of the cone, the volume will be less down, as you know. If the
Otherwise
average,
also, even in circle also, circumference is less in the center and more it is increasing. It is uniformly increasing. It is uniformly increasing from here to top.
sir, if then how did the scientist found the value of cone if you don't know? I am thinking about that.
Now you tell me, but I will put this question to you. I'll give you 2 minutes to think why this center portion is not the average area, why it is slightly above. If you take all discs here, discs, you make 1 centimeter disc from here to top, the average one is not the one in center, slightly above. That is what we found out now. Why?
It is because all no.
Okay. Okay. Anyone?
Is it because the surface is curved?
No. Even in our previous case, it was circle. Circumference we took the circle. It was average one. It worked there in that case. That's why I asked you to do that assignment at home so that it works in your mind. So what he calculated fell bit short, which means this is not the average of the area. It is slightly above. You have to take somewhere here. Where exactly you should take? If it is not in the center, where exactly you should take?
3/4.
Avinash, you are not even apply your mind. Just see if it is 1 by 3 pi r square h.
2/3. Divide it 3 pieces, then first.
Think about
Right.
it. Think about it. If it is pi 1 by 3 pi r square h is the volume, where will the average volume's place will come? Which one you should take? Which place you should take, or which value of r you should take as the average value? Then only you will get this. See, this is pi r. This you are calculating pi into the radius at this point, which is r by 2 you took. So you got it wrong because it becomes r square by 4. But instead of r square by 4, it's r square by 3. It is pi r squared into h by 3. If you get r squared by 3, where you should take instead of half? Which radius if you take, you will get the volume as 1 by 3 pi r square h. Take book, paper, pen, write and see. See, the problem which you are making is you are thinking this is like Vedanta. So you are sitting and thinking like this, battling like Buddha, you will get one suddenly an answer, or Einstein, coconut or some apple will fall on your head. It doesn't happen, boys and girls. You have to take paper, right? Try, you will get it wrong, again try, get it wrong, again try. Yeah, you are sitting and thinking like this. So where is that way? Doesn't work that way. Are you trying, others? Navneet, Sam, Vinayak and all, are you trying? I'm not hearing your voice.
Sir, is it 1 by root 3?
It is 1 by root 3. Now you're making sense. Because now this is the time for Avinash Buddha to take the paper and write. Till now he was hell bent on how to avoid this writing. Because it is precious paper and pen. Yeah, he's trying to save it. Yeah, is it not 1 by root 3? You see, it is r by root 3. See, square of r by root 3 is r square by 3. Is it not? So instead of r by 2, if it is r by root 3, that point if you take, r by root 3 is what? 1 by root 3 is 1 by 1.7 something. It will be whatever is the value, you calculate. Where is it coming? So it will be slightly above this. Instead of 1 by 2 is 0.5, 1 by 1.7, it is not 0.5. It is slightly more than that, right? Is it not? Okay, so somewhere comes 0.7 or somewhere. So if it is r by root 3, the area of that disk is pi into r by root 3 all square. So pi r square by 3 into h. So what are you getting? The average value is above this, not here. And you also got where is this point coming? Why it is not in the center? So now I will give you an exercise. Take the book and pen, paper and pen. For all the values from 1 to 10, calculate the square of everyone. Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Against 1, you write 1 square's value. Against 2, you calculate 2 square. Against 3, you calculate 3 square. And mark where is the average falling on both cases. Between 1 to 10, where is the average? Between the squares of 1 to 10, where is the average?
Sir, I've done all of them. I've done all of them.
Very well. The first line, where is the average coming between 1 to 10, which is the average number?
35.5 as the average. 5.
If you add all those things, right? If you add all the squares, which is the center point from 1 to 10? What is the center point? It is 5, right? 5. Is the center point in the squares 5 square? Where is the center point between? What is the first value of the square? 1 square 1, right? 1 square, that is 1. What is the last point? It is 10 square 100, right? What is the center point between 1 and 100? It is 50, right?
Yes, sir. And the nearest number to 50 is the square of 7, which is at 49.
Right? So between 1 to 10, the center point is in 5, but when you take the square series, the center point is not coming at 5, it is coming at approximately 7. You see it now? Can you understand why this is not coming from 0 to 10? It is not coming at half, it is coming slightly above. Now are you able to realize?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because this is pi r square. In our circle case, it is pi 2 pi r. So it was linear. So the relationship of numbers, when you make it square, that is very much different. If it is cubed, the average would have been further above. If it is raised to 4, average would have been further above. Do you understand, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is a very basic thing of mathematics, okay? Very fundamental thing.
And also, and also 7 is like somewhere around that around 1/3 range.
Yeah, so somewhere around. So that is by that 1 by root 3. If you calculate, you will get it around this value. Okay. Yeah. So go home and do this as an assignment. Assignment. Calculate which point exactly the average value will fall. Mark it. Okay. Right. So now let me ask you another question. With this also, we can't solve this problem because, see, we can't take exactly a disk here of 1 centimeter thickness and calculate its, assume this is x. So we can't take pi x square into 1. Why, you know? This is x. Here, but if you take a disk of 1 centimeter, the radius on the top is more and radius on bottom is less. It keeps on changing. Only we can tell the center value is x. Top value is not x, and it is varying. So you can't take the previous technique of taking 1 centimeter. Okay? Okay, so now all of you listen carefully from this point. We are entering into a very important technique of mathematics, which is sort of a nightmare for most math students in higher classes. We are not getting into the details of it. I don't think in this course we may get, because we don't have time. Last time I did it for +1, +2 students mostly. If we have time in the last one session or two sessions, we will see. But I'll make an intro to it. You understand the intro, okay? So Avinash asked this question: how did they find out then at that time? They would have found out in a very easy method. They would have made a cone and took some water and poured in a cylinder of the same height and seen how many cones would have been required to fill the cylinder. Okay, so by trial and error. They would have they would have found out it is 1/3. But in a solid mathematical method, it is a bit tough. The normal method, it is a bit tough. There are methods. Normal method, it is a bit tough. So now you see, we can't take that 1 centimeter thickness business here. You understand now why? Because this radius varies. If it is 1 centimeter, radius of top portion is different and radius of bottom portion is different. So you can't take the center radius and multiply for pi r square. See, now itself we are just reduced. When it becomes r square, you can take it as uniform and multiply. You can take the center as average and multiply. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we take this, let us assume this thickness as very small value. So for very small values in maths, we use a notation called delta. Have you heard delta? It's not a delta virus, okay, delta variant, okay, but that's also the same meaning. Delta is a small change. This is a Greek words, because most of the mathematics initial stuffs have been found out by Greek civilization. So most of the words you use alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and all those things, right? So when like tomorrow you guys become big scientists and find out, you will call some variable as Shivananda or one variable as Keshav. So you can name in your name. But now unfortunately you have to match with this delta business. So this D is normally what we use for delta. Okay. So I'm calling this thickness as delta y. Why we call this is normally we take as y axis and this we call as x axis. That's why. Don't bother with this name. You can call this as some name, S or T or anything. We just took this as a small value, but delta is even extremely small thickness we are taking. See, remember the technique of our square of our circle area? We take a very small value, extremely thin, wafer thin. Why are we taking? In that case, we can take the top and bottom is of almost same radius x. If this is very, very, very thin. See the same technique which we use in the case of circle. We can't take 1 centimeter thickness because 1 centimeter is too big. On the top, the area is more and bottom area is less. But we take a very, very less thickness, extremely thin, so that we can consider if it is x is the radius, we can take this as pi x square into this one. Pi x square is the area into dy as the volume of this disk. Previously, instead of dy, we used to take 1. Now we can't do it here. Do you get this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I told this word that this is pi x square into dy when this dy is infinitely small. Very, 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 very small. Now, what we are telling? The number of discs previously used to be h. Now it can't be h because this is not 1 centimeter. So number of discs are infinite number, say n. Right? So the total volume of the cone is the sum of areas of all such discs, some n number of discs. Get it? So let us assume you have n number of cones. So it is total volume of cone is like this. You have n such cones, add the volumes of all these cones. Okay. Get it?
Yes.
Okay. So this word we use have you seen this? This is another Greek animal.
I've seen that sometimes, but not so often. Very
Okay.
rarely.
Anyone, you are familiar with this Greek symbol?
Yes, sir, I have seen it.
What is it? What is it? It's called sigma.
Yes, sir.
It is normally used to denote sum. Sigma of something means sum of all those things. Yeah, it is just the mathematical representation of this English, whatever is written here. Sum of all pi x square dy. But now we have to define all means what? Sum of which all? Sum of which all? How do we tell? So we have two things. Pi x square dy for all the values of x starting from 0 to r. Right? This here x is 0. Here this x is a variable. Here 0 and it increases. Here it is r by 2 in the center and finally it becomes r. So when the value of x varying from 0 to r and the height of the cone from 0 to h, throughout this length, which all such cross sections are there, calculate the areas of all those things and that. That is what this expression means. For all values of x, which varies from 0 to r, and for all values of y, if this is y-axis, varying from 0 to h. See, from y is 0 here, increases, it becomes h. X-axis, it varies from 0 to r. And this dy is infinitely small. So this is the mathematical expression for volume of cone. If we find out how to crack this, we can calculate the volume of cone. And the method for cracking this is called the mathematical division or section, which calculates this kind of animals, which deals with this kind of animals, is called what is it called?
Algebra, x and y.
No, algebra is what we just learned. Now, this is bark of algebra. Algebra, we have learned so many things till now.
Geometry.
Geometry is dealing with these things, yes.
Calculus.
It is called calculus. Like Navajit told, this is what is called calculus. And calculus has two important brothers and sisters. One is integration, second is differentiation. Sort of kids get faint in this. Supposed to be a very tough subject for students. Okay. So if we have time, we will dive into this during the last 1 or 2 sessions. If you don't have time, at least understand it is to solve such kind of problem. Now you know why, at least why such things are used. To solve such problems, we didn't have method. So especially Newton, when he was doing his motion equations and all those things, he found out such kind of animals and he didn't find a method. So he developed a new method. Same time, during that time, another gentleman called Leibniz, he also developed such method for solving another kind of problem. So there are two fathers for calculus, Newton and Leibniz. And there's a dirty fight which followed between those two great scientists. And then that is why we call as Newton-Leibniz. But nowadays, there are lots of controversies are coming that our Indian scientist Madhava Sankamagrama had given some early thoughts on calculus around 3-4 centuries before them. But that is to deal with these kind of animals.